Hello and good evening. I am joined once again by the gorgeous duo Maxine and Donna. Ladies, good evening. Thank you for joining us again. So for those of you that didn't watch our, what we're now going to be calling Girlie Giggles video last week, Maxine is a gorgeous babe that I've known for the last few years. We've been on a bit of a rocket together. She lives up in Nottingham. I'm not going to give any more information than that, just in case.
Knock at the door.
Oh, please do. Give them my whole address. Yeah, let them queue down the road, my love. Let them queue up for you. Wine me and dine me when the restaurant's back open.
Single file, love. Single file.
Yeah.
Orderly queue, my friend. Orderly queue. And obviously gorgeous Donna. Most of you have met her on my Instagram channel. She is my right-hand woman in Self Love Club, the Lucy Davis brand, Conscious Conversation. She is amazing and she brings so much sparkle to my life. Donna, it's great to have you back with us again. So first and foremost, which I have just been absolutely roaring about offline, I want to just tell you all that Maxine's not a weirdo. Well,
hands behind your back.
Not the kind of weirdo that is going to message you offering you £15,000 or dollars or whatever it was. So I'm just going to give a real high level and then I'm going to hand over to Maxine. But basically, Maxine's Instagram account was hacked. So if you have been following her and you've had a friend request from another Maxine and you're like, hey, hang on a minute, this looks the same and she's offering me money, like what's going on? Please just be aware it was hackers from Maxine's account. So Max, is there anything else you'd like to share on that?
One, I'm not offering anyone any money. It just doesn't happen. You know, if you're skint, ring me, but you know, a five is about all I can manage. So if ever you get a message from me that just says hello, that's not me.
Yeah.
My messages are, hey, how you doing? Loads and loads of emojis, you know, there's probably
Hey,
dollar
chick.
signs in it as well.
Hey,
yeah.
chick.
Hey chick, yeah, anything like that. But if you get a hello, I don't do boring talk like that. If there's no emojis, it's not me, because I get messages like that and I don't even answer them. So if you suddenly get a conversation saying, hey, have you thought about applying for this? No, it's not me. No. Because I will phone you and tell you to apply for something. Wouldn't put it on a message.
Especially
so yes, I got hacked.
Grand.
Yeah, 15 grand for a pandemic scam. But I had loads of people saying, wow, is this you? You know, I'm talking to you now. I was actually painting my toenails in bed at the time and I thought, I haven't got my phone. I haven't got time. You can't do two jobs at once. I'm not a multitasker. But yeah, so the 15 grand for, you know, apply on this. And I think they gave a website as well. That's not mine. I haven't got a website. This is the only website I've got.
This is where you'll find Maxine hanging out. So Max, what's the best way to contact you now? Have you set up a new Instagram account?
No, I've still got my old one because they actually set up a new one.
Right.
So my old one is Maxine Palmer 762. That's the one that's still there.
But
the new one
got rid of now, has it?
The new one has just gone today. It was 862.
Awesome. Good job.
But if you look on it, yeah, if you get a request on Instagram, there's only about 5 photos on it. That's not mine because I've got loads.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks for clarifying that. So anybody that's had a really odd message from Maxine, you know why?
Odder than usual.
So they've had my Facebook, now they've had my Instagram. What's next?
It's a good job that they don't read our WhatsApp conversations, Maxine, or do they?
Oh, God, no. I'd be arrested, yeah, without a doubt. I'd have to move the people out the queue outside my house to get in the police car. Hang on.
Oh my God, these girls need to be put in the loop in. Here they go. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Anyway, ladies, I just want to say thank you for last week because the feedback has been phenomenal. I've had so many people messaging me saying, oh my goodness, you girls are exactly the tonic that I've needed. So I just wanted to say thank you and thank you for coming back. And we are going to make this a weekly occurrence. Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret, viewers. We are going to be releasing this video every single week at 6 p.m. on Thursday until we get my Zoom account sorted and I can go Zoom straight live. So what we'll do normally is this will basically go live on YouTube. So it will be 6 p.m. on Thursday, but right now we're actually filming it on Wednesday so that I can get it ready and it's going to premiere at 6 p.m. So you all know this is your slot for Girlie Giggles each week. So I just wanted to put a little bit of consistency in because let's be honest, we get distracted, we forget what's going on. At least if you know it's a set slot, you'll be good to go. So where I would like
I don't know about you, Donna, but I feel like I'm on This Is Your Life and Mike, am I supposed to just walk some of the Red Bull? Who the hell are they going to bring out? People I don't even like anymore.
Maxine Palmer, this is your life.
I'm going home.
Did you ever message people telling them they could have £15,000?
Not me, Your Honour.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I haven't got a red book, otherwise I'd have that under my arm.
I actually write in red books. Frightening.
Yeah, we really need. Yeah, I'm going to get one. I've got like a pink laptop case over there, but I don't think it will pass for the red book.
All red.
Oh, love it.
Look.
Love it. See, she's got
Get
you can do this.
I must have known.
Time.
It's all you in those 2 books, by the way.
Oh, wonderful.
All you, yeah.
So it's actually your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your life that's in there.
Maybe we should do that next week. That sounds a bit scary. Max is like, you're brave.
Okay.
I've actually started typing it all up. So what I'm going to have to do is drop little snippets out every so often.
Beautiful.
Until it's the bestseller, obviously, which it will.
Yeah, well, it will be as soon as it's written.
Yeah.
You know it will be.
It's just finding the time because there's so much in there in 4 years.
Yeah, I know, right? Imagine what it's going to be like in the next 4 years.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. I think I might have to have a lie down.
It's like 3 pages for one session. Used
You
to be
might
like
have
a
to
few
type
lines.
quicker.
It's like, no, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I've actually started tracking my synchronicities in the last week. And in fact, Maxine, I'm not sure I've told you what I channeled at the weekend, and I don't think it's right to do it here. I'm actually going to, I don't know where I'm going to share it first, but I'm going to share it somewhere, but I'll share it with you offline. I'm literally having some really crazy stuff happening through synchronicities right now that I've decided to start a whole new book documenting it and journaling it, because I mean that it's next level. You have to because you know when you look back it's fascinating and it's a bestseller. Yeah it really I mean I still read through these from before Brighton, and then obviously things started from Brighton because I did Brighton and then we did Manchester, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. There we go. There's the link to Manchester. Maxine, I was going to call you Manchester then. That's fine. Hey Manchester, how you going, girl? Manchester Max. Quite interestingly, Manchester is coming up a lot for me at the moment, a lot. So I'm obviously going to do the work in Sheffield on Saturday, the planetary stuff. I'm actually going to be staying in Manchester on Saturday night. So that's one area of Manchester. And then obviously recently in the last couple of days, they're saying that they're going door-to-door testing in Manchester. And I was like, me and Maxine were like, oh, I see. Yeah. They know that I'm coming. Yeah. They know that I think it starts Friday. Yeah, when you'll be there, you see. And then today, when we were chatting earlier, we were like, oh, you know, what other trips have we done? And we spoke about the Self-Love Club hangs that I actually held in Manchester. So that was not last year, the year before. Yep. In October. So just to bring you guys up to speed that are watching now, Self-Love Club Hangs is like it's actually the flagship product for Self-Love Club, and it's basically a couple of 2 to 3 hours evening seminar. And for a long time I was doing them in person and I loved it. I love to wander, I love to discover. So I've done them in the UAE, I've done them in Australia, I've done them in America, I've done them in the UK, like all over the place I've done them. And basically Maxine came to the tour in 2019 in October, which was the second tour we actually did that year, and actually it ended up being the last full tour that we did, because the next one was in March and we only managed to do one session last year. Sure. So I actually run a competition on Self-Love Club's birthday every year without fail. I run a competition and I give away gifts. It might be a membership, it might be some affirmation cards, it might be whatever. I just decide some products or some services and I basically just say, right, you can win, right, you can win. And Max, I believe that you won the Self-Love Club Hangs ticket, is that right? Yeah, but I didn't know about it at the time because my internet kept going off. So I didn't know until the following morning, which was the Friday? I know it was really short notice. So let's just talk about that really quickly. Did you, because I don't remember this, but did you win off of the back of the Facebook Live that I did? Yes. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay, so just so you guys know, normally on Self-Love Club's birthday, which is in October, I love a birthday, I love a good celebration. So I used to do Facebook Lives before I got banned for talking about the children. Not that I'm scorned by it at all. So I used to do these Facebook Lives, and it would literally be myself and Donna would literally cherry pick people out to win certain prizes. And
I think it was your dad that time, though, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, probably, because I just rope anyone in. I'm like, hey, can you pick someone for me?
You did, yeah.
And so yeah, Maxine ended up winning this Self Love Club Hangs ticket. Now, we were nowhere near Max. Max is in Nottingham. There was Liverpool, there was Manchester, which were probably the two closest, but like, it's not an easy journey, like straightforward.
Or Edinburgh. Wasn't Edinburgh the other one? Because you're going to a conference in Edinburgh.
Yes. Right. So there was a few locations that Max could have come to, and literally one day she was like, no, I can't come, it's too much, like I can't get the time off work, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then literally the next day she's, I'm definitely coming. So and explain the story, babe, because I know your boss was pivotal in that, right?
So the guy I work for now, I've worked for about 8 years now.
Wow.
We had another post office, he sold that, I went to work for Premier Inn. And then he got another post office in the local shop and said, do you want to come in and help? So I'd started working for him, but I was still doing Premier Inn. And then they decided to sell. So I said, you know what, I'm coming back to work for you full time. Brilliant. The only problem was that there were only 2 of us there, and it's open from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So we have to do the shifts between us. And he likes to get more time off because he's a bit lazy. And he'll be watching this and he knows, I tell him all the time. You know, the stock gets delivered, I'll go in tomorrow, say, why is it still here? Oh, you're better at it than me. You know that one. But he's lovely, honestly, he's the best guy I could ever work for. So on the Friday morning, I went into work, said, I've won a ticket to Self Love Club. And he said, what's this then? You're going off with some girls. I said, it's not that sort of self-love. Thank you. So I had to explain what it was. And I said, but I've won a ticket. I could go to Manchester, or I could go to Liverpool, or I could take about 5 days off and eventually end up in Edinburgh. So he said, because you know what my travelling's like. Going to Brighton, we actually went past the station I was supposed to get off at, and I was going, but I'm supposed to get off here. And I ended up, it took me an extra 2 hours to get there. And I ended up in the middle of Lloyd's Bank instead of in a train station. Please, can you help me? So he said, well, you know, where are you planning on going? I said, well, is Liverpool nearer? I haven't got a clue where anywhere it is. He said, well, Manchester's only about an hour. I said, all right. I said, well, I can't really go because, you know, you're going to need me here. It means me going, you know, and staying overnight. So he said, well, you could come back the same night. So when I looked, there was a train back about 10:30 at night. But it got me into Nottingham for 1:45 in the morning. So I obviously did a detour. And where you get off the train is spooky dooky. There's no way I'm getting off a train at that time. It's like something off a horror film. So I said, well, I'd have to stay over. I can't afford it. So he said, well, I'll tell you what, let's think about it. So he toddled off. I did my finished work. And he said, right, I've booked you a train ticket to go on the Monday. So you could still come into work in the morning and go straight from here. I've booked you a room in Premier Inn. Now, take note, I'd left Premier Inn, so I didn't get my discount. But hey-ho. And my train back was, he said, I've done it for 7:30 in the morning because I know you'll be stressing about coming back to work, but you can have the day off if you want. So I said, right, okay. So I got no excuses. But my anxiety was through the roof because obviously I was working on my anxiety at the time. And I would have said, no, thanks ever so much, Lucy. Give it to someone else. Can't come.
I think you did.
And I would have regretted it.
I think
I did say to Donna, because Donna said
she did say
she
that.
won't come. She won't come. And I said, Donna, I'm going to be struggling to get there.
Yeah.
And Donna just says, just let me know. You've got a couple of days to think about it. And she does this to me, you know, and then I go, right, Donna seems to think it's all right. I'm going to go. Let's go. So I did manage to get on the train. When I got off the train, I had no idea. I just followed a load of people thinking that they must all be going to an exit somewhere, but I seemed to be walking for miles.
Like that.
Got a taxi. Then I came out of the station. There was nothing, no buses, no taxis. So I just thought, just keep walking. Then the taxi turned up. He took me to the hotel. Went in the first room, no lights. I thought, this is good. Take note, I've got like 10 minutes to get to your hotel. So I went 4th floor, back down the stairs, got up to the 5th floor, no lights. I said, right, is there something going on here? Because she said, oh, you've got to put your card in. I said, I know, I've worked for Premier Inn. I put my card in, nothing's happening. And I need to be changed and out of here. So back down the stairs I go with my backpack, you know, starting to get a little bit stressed. And this woman says, would it be easier if I sort of put you on a lower floor? I said, you can put me in the restaurant, love. I need somewhere to put my bags, to change my clothes. I use the toilet and sort the room out when I get back. Anyway, finally got a room, went in, all the lights worked, but there was no water. The toilet wouldn't flush, the taps. So I had to go back to take note. I'd already taken my trousers off and everything. Gone to the loo, I was going to have a quick shower. So I literally just chucked a pair of leggings over and like my coat and went downstairs, nothing underneath, and said, right, there's no water in that room. You're going to have to move again. So I had to scramble all my stuff and go across. So it's 4 rooms in the end. Then Donna rang and said, are you coming on? I'll be there in a minute.
Excuse me, ladies. I have to go and open the door. Just bear with me. Can you believe it?
Oh, it was me last week with the phone. Now it's Donna with the door. Yeah, so eventually I did get to the hotel, your hotel. But then it was like, you know, I couldn't even find the entrance to that. So my journeys, oh God, honestly, they're a nightmare. But you've got to laugh about it.
Yeah, you do, babe. And what's so beautiful about it is Donna, I've put you on mute because of the background noise. I'll take you off mute now. Yeah, so what's so beautiful though, Max, is like you were nervous about it, let's be honest. And if we'd given you the out of jail for free card, you would have taken it and you wouldn't have gone. And I think what's so important, so again, for everybody who's watching and maybe you don't know Self Love Club at all, Donna travels with me when I do Self Love Club. I'm very, very lucky. She comes with me. Her husband lets her out and lets her come with me. So Donna was kind of like, you know, welcoming people in, making sure that they're okay. And I have to do like some rituals in the room. When I do them in person, I have to do some rituals in the room. I need to get rid of the certain energies. I need to make sure that things are set up so people are safe. Because although it sounds like we all sit around and sing Ring a Ring of Roses or talk about unicorns and sparkly things, Self Love Club is actually to basically break through your emotional trauma that's holding you back. Whatever that looks like, it may be dis-ease in your body, it may be toxic relationships, it may be self-sabotage in any area of your life. So it's not a pretty event, is it, Maxine?
No.
Donna, how many of you sat
Ritzy like this?
Do you know what? I was trying to think the other day. I don't know how many it is, but it has got to be getting on for... Lucy, I don't know. I wouldn't even like to make a guess.
Well, we did 15 last year.
Right, so it's got to be getting on for...
That's purely because we're online.
It's got to be more than 50. Got to be more than 50, isn't it?
And the rest.
Oh, yeah, you're never home.
I am at the moment.
And boy, doesn't she know it. Yeah, because what we used to do, so let me just explain a little bit about the way that it used to work, and then we'll go into what actually happened on that evening. So what used to happen is we would maybe block out 3 weeks, and we would go to maybe 3 or 4 locations the first week, 3 or 4 locations the second week, and 3 or 4 locations the third week. So we would literally be, so I think what we did was we did Birmingham, Manchester, and Liverpool and Edinburgh in 1 week, right? So we kind of like did that little stint up, and then we did other bits and pieces. So, you know, we're quite busy when we do them, Donna, aren't we? We
are very busy. At the end of it, we are exhausted. You more than me. But yeah, pretty exhausting.
But the thing is, really you don't get to bed until after 11 at night. And I get a message from you at like 6:30 in the morning, and you're working out in the gym. Have you been to bed?
We're up doing our exercises we're up doing our rituals, off to the gym, out for a run.
You do know by now that anybody that lives with me, whether it be for a day or a year, they step into Lucy World.
Oh yeah.
Lucy World is we look after ourselves.
Well, at least you had full pair of pants on this time when I was talking to you.
Yes. Wow. How do you know?
me and Lucy got to know each other very well.
So let me let the dog
on these trips, didn't we, Luce? Got to know each other very well on these trips.
Yeah, we are.
You know.
Yeah,
we're like a.
You are very close together. Yeah.
We're like husband and wife almost, without obviously the other stuff.
Oh, you're definitely you're the carer.
Very clear, but we are honestly. We're in bed together, sat there, you know, cup of tea before we go to bed, planning the next day.
Yeah, like setting the world to rights, having a good old giggle. Or more often than not, we end up laughing, Donna, don't we? And what's the last thing that I normally make us do before we go to sleep when we're on the road? You probably don't remember because it's been
Yeah, I do. We always, before we go to sleep, we always do gratitudes, what we're grateful for, every single night. And we say them out loud. We lay in bed together and we say them out loud. I get my husband on board with that, but he wasn't up for it, funnily enough. I don't know why. You know, even now he won't.
Baz is on the naughty step. Baz, you're on the naughty step. Oh, yeah. It's so good. I can't wait for us to travel again, Dons. Like, we've had some sorts, haven't we? So it's so exciting.
We have.
Well,
but
I'm
the thing
coming
is,
with you.
The people we meet on the trains, you know, that's the biggest thing I must say is, whenever we're on a train, Lucy always had an intervention of some type on the train. There is always someone sitting on that train that needs to be there to hear something that Lucy has got to say. I mean, you know, there's been some amazing stuff, Lucy. You know, we've met some amazing people.
Do you remember that beautiful young girl that I met on the train? Suicidal?
It's exactly the one I've got in my head.
Yeah, she was beautiful, and we got a really
absolutely beautiful.
This is the thing, and this is why I say to you guys, you know, every single conversation you have, it is 100% you're supposed to be there having that conversation. You just do not know what's going to come out of people's mouths. And this gorgeous girl just kept staring at me. Literally, she kept staring at me, and I said to Donna, I'm going to have to talk to her because she obviously needs to talk to me. And as soon as I opened up the door, that was it. And we did a huge intervention, and like I believe she's well. I think she's probably on one of your lists to email, Donna, actually. So you know, hopefully we'll hear from her soon. But I do think that leads in really beautifully. One thing I am going to say, when I next go to India, you have to come with me, both of you. You will wet yourself at what happens on the trains in India. Oh my gosh. I always pick up a preacher. Always.
India's on my wish list, actually.
Every train I've ever been on in India, you can ask Claire Tebbert. She'll maybe we'll get her on one week and we'll talk about India. She literally was like, what on earth is happening, Lucy? Why are you attracting these people? Because literally I'm the most spiritual person, and the most religious person attaches to me to have that conversation, and it's brilliant because I actually open their consciousness, which is always very interesting. Anyway, as always, ladies, we digress.
I know, we've gone completely off.
That's all right. That's what girly chats are all about, right? So I remember that I think were we in the Hilton Hotel in Manchester, or was it a Marriott? It was either a Hilton or a Marriott, wasn't it? In
Marriott, because it was directly behind mine.
Right. Okay. So we were in the Marriott, and I remember people arriving, but obviously, Dons, you were kind of like welcoming people, getting them their herbal tea and whatnot. And then obviously when people came in, like Max, give us a little bit of an overview, because obviously I've never attended it as an attendee. Donna attended it the first ever time as an attendee, babe, but since then you've been doing them with me, didn't you? So what was it like as an experience for you, babe? I mean, you can start with the outcome if you like, because we know how profound the outcome was. Or
I ought to start about before I got in the room.
Okay.
So, like you say, people talk to you, and they know they need to talk to you. So, I met you two in the lobby, and you had to go and set the room up. Yeah. So I'm on my own. So I went and sat in the little room behind the door, and this guy came in, who obviously worked at the hotel, didn't know I was there, and I was pretty quiet. And he turned around and he said, "Oh my God, I thought you were a film star." I said, "Well, I am, funnily enough." I said, "I'm just waiting to be let into that room." He said, "Oh, let me let you in." I said, "No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, love. I'm with those two in there." Really nice guy, but he decided to stop and have a chat with me. He actually came in to fill the cups up for the, you know, where the drinks machine was. So he said, "Are you going to be all right on your own? Can I get you anything?" I said, No, I'm fine. I'm just sitting. I'm calming myself, because when I get in there, I've no idea what's going to happen. And he said, "Is it like a psychic evening?" I said, "Who knows, love? Who knows?" I said, "It's self-love club." And he said, "Oh, well, that doesn't sound too spooky." I said, "Well, probably not." I said, "But the woman who runs it, you never know." I said, "I don't think any two have ever been the same, but this is my first one, even though I've known her all this time." So he toddled off, and then obviously Beverly came, and she walked in and said, "I'm looking for Max." And I said, "Well, there's only me here, so it must be me." So that's how I met Beverly. And then two other ladies walked in and went, "Oh, you've got to be Maxie." And I went, "It's my name outside," because you hadn't seen them. So then anyway, the doors open and we can go in. But sitting there waiting for the doors to open was like being at a pop concert, you know, and you're following this band and they're going to open the door. You know, you got backstage passes to meet them. That's what it felt like. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going in. We're going in, everybody. Come on, let's go in. Hold hands.
We might not come out the same.
Yeah.
And then we got in and there were just chairs and Donna was being a beautiful self, hugging everyone when we were allowed to hug.
Yeah, the days.
Ladies. Remember
Yeah.
the days. Wah!
Yeah, so now we can't see each other because if she can't hug me, I don't want to see her. But there weren't loads of us there. There was just enough people. And obviously there was the whiteboard. And you've got your table there. And then you just started talking to us. And so it was all quite nice and jolly. And then boom, the questions came in. What do you think? Whoa, right, here we go. We've got a pen and paper here. We're going to have to write things down. You know, like a teacher in a class. So I hadn't got a clue what to expect. And then probably about 10 minutes in, I was completely hypnotized. I couldn't have told you what was happening. I just zoom into my head. And some of the things you said, I've heard you say before, but when you're actually in that room, it's like you completely take over in a nice way. Because you said things that made me think, well, I never looked at it like that. And so obviously I've still got my notes. They're still on the same Marriott Hotel paper in my book. They're in my memory box. I have written it out properly since, because there were some things you wanted me to do, but I have still got the original paper, which sits in my memory box, October 2019. So yes, it's fascinating what happens, but you don't know it's happening. That's the thing about it. I couldn't say, if somebody had said to me 10 minutes in, you know, what have you learned? I would have said, I haven't got a clue. It was only afterwards that everything starts to sink in.
Yeah.
I just want to explain that a little bit, because Donna's witnessed this a lot. And quite interestingly, a couple of my Self-Love Club members in their last one-to-ones, they said to me, I'm just hypnotized. Whenever you speak, I'm hypnotized by you. And sometimes I miss information because I'm literally just hypnotized by you.
Yeah.
And I just want to explain that, because that's not an intentional thing. I'm not trained in hypnotherapy or anything like that, anything at all. But the gift that I've been given, the gift that I've been blessed with this lifetime, is that when I speak to you, I get into the cellular level of your body, which is basically quantum. And as I speak, you get the messages and you get the activations and you get the upgrades in your cells, which is why sometimes people go, I've got no idea what you just told me, but I feel very freaking different, or I'm going on this path.
I remembered a lot of what you said after I left the room. Yeah. It did come back to me, and I had made some notes. But yeah, it's really nice. It's not a horrible feeling. It's not like, oh shit, I don't know what she did to me there. But it was like a lot of the stuff, like you say, some people say, I can't remember what you said. There were big chunks I missed. But I remember Beverly tapped me on the shoulder, and she must have tapped me 3 times because I was gone, completely gone. Yeah. And they went, oh, sorry, was I ignoring you? She went, oh, I've been tapping you on the shoulder. I said, sorry, I'm trying to write this down. Yeah. But it's like, you know, when you go to see someone who's, you know, like standing up and talking to you, sometimes you switch off because you go, oh, can you get past this bit? I've heard this bit before. Can we go on to the next bit? There was nothing like that. The whole thing was interesting from start to finish, even though you were talking to different people and different people were saying how they felt with the questions. Yeah. You know, it wasn't one of those, oh, pick me moments either. Yeah. It was, as you spoke, you could see people like waking up going, oh, that's me. Yeah. Because there were so many different things. Absolutely. And sort of the whole of it was me, but there was one specific thing where I think I'd had that dream about all my ex-boyfriends lined up and you were shaking their hand, which I realised now wasn't a dream at all. I'd actually disappeared off to some warehouse where all my boyfriends were lined up. Outside the door now, seeing as you're giving out my address.
So Max, what happened? Because I'll never forget, I think it was the next day or a couple of days later, Donna sent me a message from you, and it was like, wow, you changed from that night, didn't you? Yeah, completely. I mean, not all in one go. Yeah, I still flip back to, you know, woe is me, victim. Yeah. But everything changed because when I left the hotel, I had to walk down a very dark road with nothing on that side because it was building work and obviously the builders weren't there, and over a very dark bridge, which I would never have done. In fact, I was going to, you know, before I got there, I was going to get a taxi back, which would probably cost me less than £1,
but I didn't want to walk there on my own. I was skipping down the road. I didn't care. I was dancing on the bridge. I was waving to your hotel on the bridge. You know, there's no rush. Everything was calm because I just felt really protected.
Amazing.
And then I got back to the hotel room, made some more notes. And then I got up in the morning to get my train. So I got, excuse me, my train was at 7:32. And while I was stood on the platform, the train for Liverpool came, which is where you were going. And I stood there and thought, do you know what? I'm going to get on that train and I'm going to go and have another go because it was that good. But I felt like I couldn't remember enough and I wanted to go again.
Yeah.
And the train pulled in and it literally was split second. I thought, right, I'm getting on. I'd just get on and buy a ticket on the train. Didn't know whether you could. I don't know whether you can still do that now. I mean, I don't know. I'm prehistoric.
No idea either.
So the train pulled in, but there was a sign saying, not in use. It was actually not your train. Oh. So that was what, otherwise I would have got on that train to Liverpool. You would have got to Liverpool and seen me again.
Wow.
Because I needed to go back. Yeah.
How interesting.
And if it hadn't said not in use, I would have been there. But then the Nottingham train came, so I got on that train to go back. Wow. But yeah, that's how close I was to coming back to the next one. I was just going to ring my boss and say, right, not being funny, I'm staying another night. But now I'm in Liverpool. I mean, he wouldn't have minded because he even offered to come and fetch me from the train station at 1:45 in the morning if I'd have caught that train. But yeah, so, you know, I wanted to come back because it was so fascinating. But I didn't need to because once I got home, and I was explaining to my boss some of the things that have been said, and he's just starting to wake up. I mean, he's a totally different guy to who I worked with all those years because he was horrible. He knows he was horrible. He's always in a bad mood. And people used to avoid him. So we had 4 counters on the post office. Mine was the busiest. He had no one. Unless they'd never been to the country before and they'd go to him. And then they'd never come back again. But now he's a lot nicer.
Love it.
But now he is, honestly, he's a nice guy you can meet, but he listens to what I'm saying. And so I sort of started talking to him about it. Then when I got back in the afternoon, I literally filled my diary with everything that happened. Beautiful. And you gave us the 7 steps. And so I started to put those in place. Didn't do it all in one go because that would have been too much. Yeah. And then just little things that happen. I think, oh, that's what she said. Yeah. And it still comes back to me now, all this time later.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
And Donna, I mean, obviously you were so proud of Maxine because obviously she wasn't going to come and then she was coming and then, you know, you were really blown away. But I'd love to hear from your perspective, babe, because Maxine has been an amazing testimonial, right? She had such a great, that was such
unbelievable.
But obviously you've seen quite a lot of people.
So many.
Transform. Is there any of the Self-Love Club hangs that you remember as being like really wow?
Right. So one's come to mind, which I will talk about in a moment. But what I want to say is everyone is so different, you know, and that's the beauty of Self-Love Club hangs is that Lucy, what comes out of your mouth, Lucy, is always what the people in that room need to hear, you know, always. And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, wow, this is a different, you know, with first view, I'll be like, well, this is a different perspective. This is a different way she's doing this. And then within that evening, it would become apparent why, because the people there needed to hear it from that perspective. And that's the bit of it, I think, that blew me away from the beginning. From the first one that I attended in London, I knew I wanted to be involved.
That was so emotional.
Yeah, unbelievable. And from that first one, I knew I had to be involved in some way. I knew I had to be around this lady. I knew, you know, if it just meant I had to carry a bag, I'd be there. Luckily, she doesn't make me carry a bag. In fact, bless her, she's carried mine up a few stairs when we've had to run from one train place to another, and I've got a heavy bag, and she's like, "Come on," you know. She's like muscles. Off she goes. Like one on top of her hand, one on the other hand, like this, you know. But bless her. So yeah, she's actually carried my bag the other way around. But I think there has been so many, and it's very difficult to pick one out. But I think for me, it would have been one of the ones for me that blew me away was when we had a young boy attend.
Oh yeah. That was Edinburgh. Yeah. Because
you know, there'd been some amazing evenings and all adults, and then that was the first one for me when there was a child in the room, and I really didn't know how it was going to be or how it was going to, you know, and just to see that little boy just open up like a beautiful flower for you, was just so emotional. It makes me emotional now thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm filling up.
Yeah. It was just an amazing experience to see that.
I think I remember you saying something about that one.
Yeah, it was powerful. And what was so beautiful about it is, and I know that his mother won't mind me saying this, obviously we won't mention his name because he's only, he's probably 15 now, maybe 16, I don't know.
Yeah.
But his mother won't mind me saying this. He was actually being quite badly bullied at the point where we did this. And because he's so gifted with his singing voice, and people didn't like it. So we really changed things up for him. You know, I got a beautiful picture sent from his mum where he'd drawn Self-Love Club and hearts on the Frosty bus stop and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
He basically said when lockdown happened, Lucy needs to go around talking to all of the schools about, you know, how this is going to work. And do you know what? Luckily we've had lots of children since then come through Self-Love Club, but it was a beautiful event, and I really do feel as if we got through to the adults a lot better that night because there was this little person there. Absolutely. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't little at all, but obviously in age he was much younger, and we opened him up. We really opened him up. One of my favourite ones, I don't know if it's favourite, but one of the most profound ones that I remember was in my hometown of Bournemouth.
Yes.
I will never forget, I had on the gorgeous little blue dress, funnily enough, you told me to put on. Yeah, and basically,
good luck, that is.
I completely blew it out the water. I changed it up completely. Like, I had everyone up dancing. Like, I just completely changed everything this night. Donna's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I know, I'm just doing what I'm doing. And that night, I watched people's souls come out of their body and go and stand to the back of the room and start clapping, all sorts of really, really beautiful things. And it was off the back of that some of the people that came, I mean, we had a room full that night, Donna, didn't we? We had such a huge turnout.
So many people in there.
And it was off the back of that some of the best transformations that have ever come out of Self-Love Club hangs have taken place.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but, I mean, we've had such fun, Donna, haven't we? I'm actually quite excited to take them back on the road. But let's just talk about them online quickly, because Maxine, you've come online, haven't you? You've been to one online. In terms of whether you feel it was better in person or online, what's your thoughts?
Online is more profound.
Yeah.
Because in the room, I mean, I was okay because obviously I felt I didn't even know anybody else was there. But for some people who maybe their anxiety is a little bit too high, they might feel like they wouldn't speak.
Yeah.
And obviously you ask questions to get people speaking. Whereas online, you can just go in the chat box and, you know, you can sit on your own in the room with your headphones on and just listen to you.
Yeah.
And it has, I mean, to me, it has the same effect because I've been to one, you know, in person. But you can actually be more yourself online.
Yeah.
I
think
so you can ask the questions and comment more.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like about this, and I know, Donna, you've had a little bit of this happen during Self-Love Club hangs, and that's you can send private messages.
Yeah.
And actually, that's like with some of the subjects that I've spoken about in the past. You know, I talk about sexual trauma. Let's shout it out. I talk about, you know, abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, you know, where we're all holding on to the anger in our wombs. And in, you know, like, that's me. That's what I do. I help you guys release your trauma. So, you know, when I've been doing sessions with people that have been seriously abused as a child and things like that, they like to message me privately, or they message Donna, and Donna lets me know, so that they get a little bit of anonymity. You know, which I think is so important. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first did the first ever one online, I said to Donna, this just won't work. They need to hear my energy. Like, they need to vibe off of me. Like, oh, it's just not going to work. And everyone was like, you're off your head, woman. It worked amazing. And I was like, oh, maybe that was just my ego.
I think the energy was so powerful. And especially when you did, I think it was about the third one I came to with the sexual trauma. That one blew me away completely.
Yeah.
Completely blew me away. I couldn't stop listening, but I wanted to stop listening, if you know what I mean, because you hit every raw nerve possible. And I think had I been in a room, I may have gone.
Yeah.
Because it was too much.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting here on my own with my earphones in, I could bawl my eyes out.
And it's interesting you say that, because the way that I've channeled that it needs to work for this year is I've got to do 4 events. I'm going to do one in March, one in May, one in July, and one in September. And I'll pop all the information in the description below. The first one is around loving yourself, which I could easily do in a room. The second one is loving your shadow, which again, I could easily do in your room. The third one is loving your inner child. What's it called, Donna? Love your younger self.
Loving your younger self.
Yeah. And then the last one is actually called Love Your Journey. However, what that's going to be about is releasing the sexual traumas and, you know, any of that underlying, because we've all got issues with sex. Every single person has issues with sex, whether you know it or not is a different thing. We've all got trauma in our soul on a sexual level, in one way, shape or form. So the last one is going to be Love Your Journey, which obviously is going to be focusing on the sexual trauma and releasing that up from the planet, which is what Maxine was just talking about. I would never do that in a room, I don't think.
No, you see, the good thing about being online for that one is, so somebody's come along who probably has never told anyone, or if they have, they've only told their closest friend. They never actually told them how they feel about it. So when you start talking online, they can see all these other people who've all come for that reason.
Exactly.
Or even if they don't know they've come for that reason, it will soon become clear they have. And I think they can express themselves a hell of a lot more just by listening to your voice.
Yeah.
And even if it takes, and I always say it does take more than one session. They do need to come more than once, because then you hear things differently. And so how I look at it is, you know, they've got to get rid of all of this. So the first one, they might only get rid of that, but they've already made a hole in the second bit. And then you come along and do a second one, and they're going up 3 or 4 levels until they get to here. And they go, whoa, hang on a minute. And a lot of it's because they can't speak about it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on, they can be speaking to themselves and you can't hear them.
Yeah. And they can,
but they're actually releasing it.
Yeah, absolutely, babe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why we started these, right? I didn't know why we started these. I channeled it. That I needed to do these things. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what it felt like. I channeled the 7 steps. I was like, don't even know what that looks and feels like right now, but we'll figure it out as we go along. And as it's gone along, it's just been carved out into something incredibly beautiful. Like, I am so proud of Self Love Club. Like, I am
you should be.
Oh God, without a doubt, you should be.
You know,
for sure.
Our members are amazing. I'm just about to start a coaching program. Like, honestly, it is amazing what we are doing with Self Love Club. So I think because we've been on a while now, ladies.
Oh God, we start now.
We can now to Britain, can't we?
Nice, doesn't it?
That's why we can't get together, because it take a whole day.
Especially when you take 2 hours of a tangent, love.
Yeah. Well, it might have to be an overnight then.
Honestly, well, I'm thinking, because obviously Donna's been trapped in a 2-bed flat for the last however long, bless her heart.
Long time.
I'm just all over the frickin' place, as per usual, because that's what my soul needs. I think when lockdown's over, we need to meet somewhere like in the middle of us, maybe north. I know you like it there, Donna, but we meet in the middle and we have hire a cottage or something and have a go.
Yeah, I'd love it.
I'm there. Just tell me where.
I'm there.
And we could do our lives from there.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be really, really fun. So
because I'd like to see what Donna sees, you know, with all the lights flickering and the dog at the feet or the cat, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. Bring your seatbelt, babe. Yeah. Bring your seatbelt.
I am bringing big pants though for when you start doing those exercises in the morning.
And your seatbelt, yeah.
Well, if we do it and the weather's cold enough, I'll have pajamas on.
Oh, God.
I'll save you all.
We'll go in the cold.
Definitely got to do that.
Trust me, this morning you would not have wanted to see my bottom.
What, that lovely little pert bottom you've got?
Liver cleansing, doesn't look good.
Oh, God, yeah.
to
I forgot you were doing that.
I have to lower the tone. I have to lower the tone. It's my job. I have to lower the tone. We have to increase.
Well, it wouldn't be us if somebody
have to normalise poo. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we all do it.
Donna and I talk about poo at least. Well, every time we speak, at some point we speak about poo. Every day that we speak about poo at some point. And Donna's like, I'm so glad that we can talk about this stuff. And I'm like, this has to be normal. Like, we do need to just talk about poo.
You talk about poo to all your friends.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Top of every agenda. Number one, poo.
The funny thing about it is one of my girlfriends in Australia, Brianna, she's one of the members actually. She is, she always does this crazy stuff with me. So we're kind of like opposite sides of the world, but we do it together. And so I said to her, babe, because she makes me amazing oils to sleep in. Like, she gives me oil, sends me over oils, and she sends me over great stuff. And I'm like, I think we should do an Instagram live together, and we should talk about all this weird shit that we do. And interestingly enough, I never thought she'd say yes. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Brilliant.
I'm also going to basically tell people how amazing your oils and stuff are. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, babe, you should be doing this for a living. Like, literally, she's so talented. My skin, every night, I put this oil on that she sent me. I wake up the next morning, I'm like, my God, I am so fresh. You know, so
she needs to tell us about those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Right? She really does. And she's just so talented. Honestly, she's so talented with like just pulling all of the naturalness into life, if that makes sense. So I think she's a gift that the world needs to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, let's end with a word of wisdom. And as we've been speaking about, Donna, I'm going to ask you a question. Who would you recommend comes to Self Love Club? If people are sat there thinking, oh my goodness, should we really come? Who would you recommend? Bearing in mind you've been to so many.
Absolutely anyone. And that is the honest truth. Honestly, if you are drawn, if you see the advertisement, or you've listened to the dates that Lucy's given you, and you are just drawn to coming, then just come along.
Yeah.
Anyone can come. It doesn't matter if you're female, male, you know, how old you are. If you are drawn to come, then come. Anybody. It's for anyone, Luce. It really, really is. You know, and if you're sitting there feeling, you know, let's be honest, we're all sitting here at the moment feeling we're a little bit stuck. Let's be real. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that won't be feeling that. But if you're just sitting there feeling that, you know, there's something you're just missing, you know, you're just feeling that you're not moving forward in your life, then you need to come to Self Love Club.
This might be, the lockdown might have actually made them realise that as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously before we just plodded along, didn't we?
Yeah.
Until someone comes along and says, you know, you're telling yourself you're happy and this is what you want to do every day, but deep down, you know, it's not real. You know, there's something missing. So just go and have a listen to Lucy, and I'll meet you on the corner. Let's go and have a party.
Love that.
Let's go and get it all out.
The only thing I was going to say is obviously the sexual trauma thing. I would want
of course.
Over. I don't want anybody younger than that, because we'll through meditations and stuff, we'll probably go to some places that I'm not sure anyone younger would want to go to.
Yeah,
at the moment.
absolutely.
But other than that, anyone.
But the other one,
anyone.
Obviously not that one.
Yeah.
But the other ones are for. And even if someone says they're 100% happy, come along, mate. Just come along, because we'll just find that little bit that you're not, and we can make it better.
We'll just get rid of that, help you heal, and you can ascend, because that's all.
Absolutely.
We remove
and life will be good.
Remove the emotional trauma, and we ascend. That's what this is all about. You know, this is all about healing. That's it. So, Maxine, I'm going to give you the last question. Where do you think we should go on our girly weekend?
I love it.
You travel so well.
God, it's going to involve a train, isn't it? I'm booking the tickets now, because, you know, the train will not turn up, or I'll just go straight past the stop. You choose a place, I will get there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really
No excuses.
The Lake District. I'm really, really drawn to.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice there.
Because then we can be out in nature. But I'm also
it's beautiful.
drawn because Donna often talks to me about Norfolk, and I've never been.
Oh, it's beautiful,
nice.
Norfolk. Yeah, you'll love Norfolk, Liz.
Isn't it? Norfolk's between. you guys?
Probably is, Max. Yeah, I think it probably is.
Well, I'm here, Norfolk's there, and you're there, so sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a triangle.
And Lucy's got to go all the way like that to get to it.
Yeah, but I travel. I'm good.
Do you know what? You'll love Norfolk. It just has everything. It has beaches. It has, you know, just beautiful countryside. Yeah, I love Norfolk. I have a real.
I'm just gonna decide, because you know wherever we go.
Well, we should go to Norfolk and then pop up to the Lake District.
Oh, okay.
Might as well do both.
Should we have a 2-week holiday, girls?
Yeah, sounds good.
We haven't been out the bloody house for all this time, so we can't do
We're owed it. We're owed it.
Let's go on a road trip. Let's hire a camper van.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
We've said for 4 years now, I've said we have to have a camper van.
Yeah.
I'm going to find one. We've got to have one. Girls on tour.
I'm just joking.
Don't choke. Don't choke.
Quite a lot.
I don't know how. Something's just decided to take my voice.
It's that camper van. Every time I mention the camper van, somebody chokes.
Shut up, woman. You're not taking holiday. We need you to be speaking. Yeah. Anyway, ladies, thank you so much again for your time, your efforts, and your energy.
What a lovely evening.
I'll stop the recording and then we can continue to chat. Everybody, I hope you loved this evening. If you do, comment below, smash the thumbs up, give Maxine and Donna some love, and they may come back next week for our next edition of Girlie Giggles. Also, I'm going to actually tally back to the video that we did last week right here, which is 24, so that if you like what you're seeing here, you can go back and watch the other one. Guys, we will see you next week. Have the most beautiful day.
Bye.
Take care.